everybody, this is Kaylina from Put a Fork in It and CC Photo and Media. It is Saturday, September 9th, and I am here to do the weekly update of Making Healthy Great Again and update you on how the week went for me. So again, I made some notes and here they are. So this week, I actually was the associate photographer for a couple of weddings, and so that kind of indicated something that I wanted to kind of talk about. Something I've noticed for myself is I find it very difficult to not give in to temptations and make good decisions when either I haven't had enough sleep or when it's the end of a really long day and I'm hungry, or even if I'm not hungry, but it's the end of a really long day where I was very busy and active throughout the whole day. I apologize for the traffic in the background. Our house is on a main road, so there's lots of traffic because it is Saturday. In any case, so what I wanted to say was that I find it difficult to not give in to temptations, basically. So, for example, how that plays out is I was photographing a wedding and it's a long day, and you start with the bride and groom getting ready either in the morning or the early afternoon, and then by the time the dessert table comes out at the reception, you see all the amazing looking desserts, and even if you know that your calorie budget is up for the day, you say, screw it, I have an hour drive home and I've been shooting all day and blah blah blah, and these look damn good. So you have one or a few or whatever, and hopefully it doesn't totally screw up your whole week, but that's kind of how it is for me. It doesn't necessarily screw up the whole week, but it is like a it's just hard to overcome that temptation because there's no more willpower left for the day because you're just so tired and you still have to make it home, which in this case I have to end up going about an hour away sometimes for these jobs, so it's quite a long distance. And the other part of that is this week I attended a networking event and there were some baked goods, and it was another similar situation where it's the end of the day and I haven't had dinner yet and I'm hungry and there's these delicious looking foods around. So I'm sure I'm not the only one that has this struggle. But sometimes it's easier to avoid and sometimes it's harder to avoid. The one thing that we can do is maybe try have healthier options at events. I don't know, but it's something that I struggle with, especially at things like networking events or weddings where it's like the fear of missing out sort of plays into it too, since these aren't things that I normally would eat on a day-to-day basis. So on a positive note, I did pretty well with working out this week. I did make it to the gym a couple of times, and I was really proud of myself when, not this week because I was at a wedding, but last Friday I actually forced myself to go to the gym before it closed I think it closes at 10 p.m. and I went just for a short workout of 20 minutes of cardio. I walk in the gym, they're like, we close in 20 minutes, right? I say, yes, but 20 minutes is better than no minutes, and that's still my philosophy. That was my philosophy back the first time when I lost weight, but it's 20 minutes are better than no minutes, so you do what you can. But I've been using MyFitnessPal to track my food. I've done pretty well with getting back on that bandwagon, and I have a Fitbit that I wear most of the time. I just had taken it off the charger. That's why I don't have it on right now, but that helps me maintain an awareness around my activity levels and my calorie burn for the day, And then MyFitnessPal, it allows me to keep track of my calories in, and also to some degree my macros, which I don't pay a lot of attention to, but I do try and follow a little bit more of a low carb style of eating. Not necessarily, it's not something I'm like hard and fast to, but I make a general rule of eating more vegetables and proteins and healthy fats than grain-based carbs. The major exception to that is granola, because it's just good and I eat it in our yogurt. So yeah, but I did pretty well this week with tracking my food, whether I tracked on the day of or I remembered what I ate and did it a few days later. But because of that, I'm able to know that my average intake was around 1,500 calories a day, and my average burn was around almost 2,100 calories a day. Now these numbers aren't perfect because, the tracking systems aren't perfect, but it's fairly accurate, I would say. And basically that means I'm achieving the goal of having a 500 calorie deficit each day. Now, these are average numbers, so obviously each day is slightly different because I don't eat the same exact thing or do the exact same amount of activity each day, but basically I'm reporting that, hooray, I'm actually achieving what I set out to do. And it feels great because it reminds me of the first time that I went and lost weight, and it's kind of like old hat in a way, like if you haven't ridden a bike for a while and then you get on a bike and you remember how it feels, and then you get adjusted and it's easy. Well, this is sort of how it feels with like going to the gym and tracking my food, because these are all things I've done before. So now I'm just doing them again after taking a break for a while and with a renewed motivation. So it's just feels like normal, which is great. So we'll see how long I can keep this up for. But, last time I did this for several months in order to lose 50 pounds. So here we go. It's going. And was there anything else on here? No, that's pretty much it. The other thing that I wanted to mention was something that's pretty critical in understanding how much I've eaten and my tracking of my food so that I feel confident in the numbers of calories in is actually I've been weighing my portions, not for every single thing, but for certain things where it's hard for me to estimate. So we have a food scale. It's a digital food scale in our kitchen, and it's easy to access. I think that's key. If you're thinking about how to do measurement of portion control, I would definitely recommend having a food scale and keeping it somewhere where it's easy to access, because I know for me, if something is not out and easy and ready for me to use, then the likelihood that I'm going to use it is not very high. So yeah, it's easy to access, and I've been using it to measure, how much of a serving of fruit something is, or, make sure that I actually have an ounce of cheese instead of thinking that I have an ounce of cheese and it's really like 4 ounces, okay, 1 to 4 is a huge jump, but basically you get the idea. And it might be enlightening if you're somebody that's trying to lose weight and understand portions. It might be kind of enlightening for you to see, like that chicken breast is maybe 8 ounces instead of what a serving size should be of 4 ounces. So yeah, just something to think about. But yeah, so basically that's that. I started using the food scale again for meats and for serving sizes and yogurt, and also especially so that I can measure how much granola I was using because I tend to go a little overboard because it tastes good and it's one of the few things that I get to have that has added sugar. So yeah, naturally I tend to go overboard. So I've also been using, the quarter cup thing to measure a scoop out of whatever, things like that. So really staying on top of the size of the portions, and that's how you know how many calories things have. So it's helpful. All right, that's it. Thank you for watching. And also, if you happen to be in the Hudson Valley area and you're someone that needs a headshot, you can come to the mini sessions that I'll be hosting over in New Paltz on September 28th. You can learn more about that at ccphotoandmedia.com. Otherwise, I look forward to chatting with you again next week. And make sure to follow Put a Fork in It on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and here on YouTube. You can also subscribe anywhere you get podcasts. Thanks so much.